team is back in Hull. We had a big gap last show, and hopefully we didn't cause too much anxiety to our wonderful historical guru himself. And so today we're going to catch up on some news, some hobbying, and then we're going to talk about an interesting topic. Do people play war games for the game or for the hobby portion? And I'm talking mostly miniatures, but it could also go for war game creation. So sit back, relax, and let's get into this here very shortly. All right, so we're back. It's time to get into the depths of what is wargaming this show. So we're going to start with the guy who wasn't here and let him catch up. What's going on, Jim?
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Good.
What's going on? More of the usual. I had a little bit of a vacation. We did some more wargaming at Dust Creek House, home of South Florida Miniatures Gaming Club. It's sort of a chapter of Historical Miniatures Wargaming Society. And yeah, it came out pretty good. Had a battle with 1st Battalion, 5th Marines back on the island of Peleliu, 15 September 1944. So if you're familiar with the HBO series The Pacific, pretty much we did episode 6. That's
Awesome.
that's with my friend. Oh no, I just told him my friend. Now I'm going to totally get his name right. Mark Ritchie. Sorry about that. Mark Ritchie ran that game. It's his own. We're talking about designing your own games. His own game system, Tactical Combat. And yeah, those 2 videos went up during the past week, and that's been great. Other than that, I've been failing epically with my first try at, which I guess we'll get into the hobby part of the show. With 3D miniatures, I'm not entirely sure I'm a fan, but we'll get back to that later. I'm making it work, but it'll be fine. And other than that, getting ready for tomorrow's game. No spoilers. So, no spoilers. Tomorrow's game is going to be epic.
Ooh, interesting. All right. Chris, what about you, bud?
With me, it's like every other time. I've done nothing.
Ooh, well, way to keep.
Hold on.
That's not true. You actually have some big news potential.
I do have the rotary attachment dialed in.
Nice.
For the laser, yes.
Laser. Excelente. Excelente. All right. Well, Marty.
So the child moving out saga continues.
Uh-oh.
I say that because last week last show I was all excited because we were getting ready to do that and I could set up the Hawk.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, right after the show is when they informed me that none of her appliances have arrived, so it's been pushed back 2 weeks. So there's that. My hobby space is in a state of flux because I have it half packed still, and I have not done much there. However, knowing that we're going to be moving into a new space, I have acquired some equipment and some stuff. I got some shelves. I got the. I may have bought a new TV.
Nice.
Got to be able to do that with the wall mount. So I did get a few things there to get it set up, as well as not directly historical related, but last weekend I helped our friend Steve Herner, Holy Hammer Herner, with his Holy Havoc Age of Sigmar tournament last weekend. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah, well, he needed a strong back and a weak mind, and I've got half of that, so because my back is blown.
But you've got the whole weak mind. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I own all that. There's definitely no arguing it. But I did get to help him out with his tournament, which is kind of nice because it's actually a charity event. They raised $8,000, a little over $8,000 for Hesed House here in Aurora, which is a homeless shelter, and then they offer all sorts of social services for folks in need in the local area. So
awesome.
So How's your painting compared to what you saw there?
Oh my, bro. So they do, everybody shows up to this thing with fully painted armies and whatnot. And I would not wanted to have to judge that painting competition. First of all, Vince Venturella was there, so there's that. But I mean, everybody brought their A game. Everything looked good. There was no 3-color and I'm throwing it on the table armies there. So it was pretty impressive.
So you wouldn't have won any.
Oh no, I wouldn't have been an honorable mention at this place. No. If I got mentioned, it would have been mockingly, like, yeah, this guy, yeah, he's new, right? You know, you can buy brushes. Quit finger painting your guys.
All right.
How about you, Bill? You did a little something.
So I put out the first video. So the saga of trying to adjust to not having all the resources and things I've had in the past has come to haunt me. I got the video done the way I wanted it to, and I was finalizing the rendering, and my computer totally crapped out, and I lost the entire file, couldn't get it back. Don't know what happened. So I did another quick one, and I used this Restream Studio, which is the software we're currently using. I like this. It seems pretty easy, and we can do some fancy stuff on the fly, like, hey, buy merch. So I got a video out. It was a little rough, but I got there. I'm looking at some other options as far as the, big gaming in little spaces, because there's, believe it or not, did you know there's a supply issue? Just saying.
No.
So I might not get the minis in the time frame I'm hoping I do. So I'm looking at alternatives. So I downloaded Tabletop Simulator again and trying to figure out how to use this beast, to simulate a tabletop. I know Jim does a really good version on his own, but I'm just looking at different options in case for some reason the minis don't show up when they're supposed to. So other than that, there's just some other things in the background, just trying to get back into the swing of things. But yeah. Also, just real quick, a shout out to Tuffy Ears. Got her T-shirt.
Yay!
So awesome. Was the prize winner in our last show. Your mug should be there shortly as well. So we shall see. All right.
So I have an alibi, because I don't think I mentioned this last time. And when you said small spaces, it reminded me of this.
Uh-huh.
So I've got a little project that I'm going to start. And what I've decided to do is I am going to make wargaming into art. Literally.
Okay.
I went to Goodwill. I bought
Yeah.
a big honking crappy picture, and I am going to cover said picture. I'm gonna pull the picture out of the frame, and I'm gonna put a piece of MDF in there, and I'm gonna build a little, not quite a 2x3 table on it. And then when I'm not using it, I'm literally going to hang it on the wall.
So you need to make sure you either video that or do a photo vlog.
Yeah.
So people can see that.
I need to be able to set up the hock so I can get working on it. I've got the stuff. I got it. I'm ready. But like I said, my hobby space is all blown up right now. So
yeah.
You also can't operate the hock without the logo for the door, which you've been promised now for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I haven't done any work on that either, so I'm not going to throw any shade there. So, but yeah, we gotta figure out something cool.
Awesome.
Oh, we could burn it once you figure it out.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Jim, Discord, has there been a lot of activity on the hobby page there?
I actually haven't been on the Discord that much lately. I've been really busy with a bunch of other stuff. There's been some people have been working on Air War C21. I think LSR 2590. Our friend Dylan has some work on there. Rasmus had an Infinity game on there. So yeah, there's definitely been some.
Okay.
But I'll be honest with you, I've been kind of MIA these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, everybody needs some time off, and I got other things in the world going on. So I'm trying to bring up the Discord page right now. Hopefully it'll pop up quickly. My computer's running slow. I actually ordered a new laptop, so I'm just waiting on that to show up.
Well, actually, I can. I mean, I don't know if I can display it, but I can.
Yeah, do you have the button that allows you to share the screen down there?
Yeah, it should be next to the camera button, right?
Yeah, there's a camera button next to it. There's a button with a little arrow up with a little like monitor screen.
I see it, just like Skype or
Yep.
a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah,
all right, let me close all the porn windows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I'm just kidding. In all seriousness, here we go with. Come on, share.
I hope that isn't a subscription service.
Oh, I might have to stop sharing. So let me stop sharing. No, I'm not sharing, so you should be able to share, Jim.
It's literally not letting me. Let me try again. Nope. The button is grayed out.
Yeah, it's grayed out for me, but if you click on it, does it highlight white when you click on it? No?
Share system. Oh, nope. Window. Chrome tab. No, that's not letting me do anything.
Oh.
Discord. Oh, okay. If I go to Chrome tab Discord, it lets me.
Okay.
All right, so are we seeing my Discord?
Hold on, I'm going to bring it up right now.
Sharing this tab with studio.restream.
Yes.
Hey. Wow, this is fancy stuff.
Oh, it's almost like I work for a tech company. Okay. Oh, yeah. So here is Mark Ritchie that we were talking about before. He ran that tactical combat game in Pellyville. Yeah, he's been working on some wheeled transport here.
Nice.
What else is going on here? I'm just going to go through all the channels here super fast.
Yep.
That's in announcements. That's not really where our hobby goes, but it's all good. People are keeping us updated. Okay, in the war room, rec room is pretty much just silly jokes. Some technicals.
Nice.
There you go.
Remember the brigade, but yeah, there's no actual hobby in this part. I'm still waiting for that shopping cart of death that we were talking about before, Marty.
Yeah, who's printing that?
I got it from Chris at Modern Mini 3D.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I was saying, Dylan's been in here. Rasmus has been working on Infinity. I've been working on my Magox. We'll talk about that later. And yeah. Oh, wait. Jocko is, like I said, has been working on some Air Wars C21. I'm not sure if he's actually doing it in 1 to 300 or 1 to 600, or if he's doing it virtually like we've done it before. Mm-hmm. But he is getting the materials ready. Oh yeah, there are his miniatures right there. Those look like 1 to 300s.
Nice.
Yeah.
They're so small.
Yeah, they're actually pretty big for that game. Usually, a lot of people play that game in 1 to 600.
Yeah.
But that's what's been going on in Discord lately.
Interesting. All right. I'll turn that screen off. All right, Marty.
So I do have my shopping cart of doom.
Oh, nice.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Love that little guy.
Yep. Yeah, Jim, you got something in your background that's clicking. Because when I mute you, we don't hear it anymore. So I'm not sure what it is. I don't know. Maybe you got a fan on or something. It's not too bad. Oh, I don't hear it now. Oh, you're muted. Okay.
I muted myself. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing on over here. I turned off my fan, so sorry about that.
That's okay. No problem. All right, Marty. It's news time. I still have to get your news stuff uploaded into this, but why don't you just take us right into the news?
I would accept a live rendition from you if you wanted.
No, you don't.
Never mind. Okay, so a couple of news items. Hold on a sec. There we go. All right, first one, Spectre has released a couple of new squads, Spectre Managers. And it's their local forces. And these guys are modern dudes that are kind of designed to be generic, if you will, like everyday kind of modern Western national armed forces. Could be Europe, could be South American, depending on how you paint them up. But there's all sorts of different options there.
Okay.
So you can use them as great filler dudes. Like if you need, if you're trying to put together a platoon and you've got some really nice, like veteran dudes that you want, as your leaders and your key players, but you need some more miniatures. These are some great ways to fill them out as troops.
Nice.
And of course, if you're going to have your grunts, you got to have your support guys. So they've got a support squad as well. The support squad's pretty cool. So they've got, they got a dude with an AT4. They got a dude with the NLAW. They got an RPK. They've got a PKM. And then, of course, what good is it to have a support squad if you don't have a sniper? And they've got a suppressed M82 50 cal with thermals on it to support your little guys there. So
and it looks like an M60 by the one guy.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Interesting.
But again, some good-looking dudes. You can kind of fill out your guys and be able to support your average infantry soldier there. Next little items from Black Site Studio. Chris, you should be excited. This is terrain that comes pre-painted. I don't know if you can hear my wife laughing downstairs. So they've got several items in here. Firehouse number 8. Which
look familiar, anyone from a certain movie?
I was gonna say it is particularly timely, being Halloween weekend essentially. But Firehouse number 8 may resemble something you saw in Ghostbusters.
It even says a special Halloween release.
Yes. Yeah, and then and again, it comes as a kit. It's pre-painted. All you have to do is assemble it, slap it on your table, and get after it. There's
Perfect.
also the Sundown Drive-In Cinema. So, if you want to set it up there, that may be a modern option for you. You could use it post-apocalyptic scenarios. So, you got the option to set that up. Particularly if you're a guy that has a bunch of civilian vehicles that you want to showcase and display. What better place than a drive-in?
Right.
Let's see.
And you can actually put a tablet in the screen.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You can put a tablet in there and actually run a movie if you wanted to. So fire up Netflix, put it in there, and you can have your little dudes at the movies.
Very nice.
You have to show the scene from Twister.
Yeah.
Right. And then let's see. Next up is the Keaton Residence. So again, this is another pre-painted kit that you assemble. So you could use this style house in a variety of different genres there, but it gives you a nice kind of upscale old school residence.
Yeah.
And as you can see, the inside fully playable. So
yeah.
Cool
I tell you what, Black Site Studio has definitely come a long way since we first met them back.
I was gonna say, do you remember back in the day when they were sponsoring us, and they that was probably Tough Years, the Psycho House, yes. That was right when we started, 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah. Well, it was last Adepticon we were at, so that was what, 2018, 2019,
19.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
Their line has expanded so much. They have moved into a new place. They've had to upgrade their manufacturing space and capability. They're killing it. So my best to those dudes.
Yep. Hey, another thing with the Keaton Residence is for those of you who can play it off, because you have daughters, say that you bought them a dollhouse. That's why you bought it.
Yeah.
All right, you got one more.
I've got two more.
Two more.
The target compound, as they refer to it, and if you don't recognize it exactly in that configuration, this is the compound where Osama bin Laden got shot in the face.
Yeah.
So they had to take some liberties because otherwise it would be a huge set. Now you can buy additional. You can that's a bundle. So it's the building, the outbuilding, the walls, all of that jazz. But you can buy each of those individually as well. So if you buy more, particularly compound walls, you can make it big enough, but you'll need more to do that.
Yeah.
But again, fully playable.
Look at the mini.
Yeah. You get a little
right.
something there.
I might have to order that. I don't know what the hell I put it, but I gotta order that. I meant just for the mini.
Right. And then
just have it shipped here.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we'll take care of it.
Don, we gotta ship a new compound to Chris's house so I can get the really cool mini. Okay. She said, "Wait." She shook her head. Yes.
I mean, the good news is you don't have to worry about Chris painting it.
Right? Yeah. That is true. That is true.
All right. So,
what else they got?
One more. They have their Afghan compound bundle. So
all right. Hold on a minute. Let me adjust the screen back. Get out of here, you.
Yeah, hit the back button there and go to the next one.
Yep. TDD. All right.
But all the way to the
compound. Right. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So that again for those of us that are playing moderns and we're in that Afghan environment, this is a pretty nice Kalak compound setup.
Yeah.
So and the guys do a great job of fleshing it out there on their table. There's a boatload of stuff that comes with it. You can put it in a bunch of different configurations if you want. It's all modular.
Yeah.
So I thought that was some cool stuff.
It is very cool. So real quick, regarding Blacksite Studios, they've really kind of taken up the helm from Foreground. Foreground shut down.
Right.
And these guys have stepped up and, one, it's nice to see somebody on this side of the ocean. But I mean, I will always be a forever fan of Ben and Cad, the father and son team behind Foreground. So, but this is nice to see we have this as an option for gamers. So that's
nice. And that's coming out of Waco, Texas.
Yep. All right, what's next, sir?
All right, so next up, just a quick little blurb from our good friend Forrest over at Knuckle Duster. So we talked about his new releases and what he had coming up on the last show. So I'm not going to go over all of that again. If you're interested, head on over to knuckleduster.com. Gotcha. But pretty soon, we're going to see knuckleduster.com completely redesigned.
Oh.
He is if you've been on the web page, it's kind of it can be kind of clunky. It doesn't do everything while that he wants it to do. So he is redoing it. He's going to use the Shopify platform. That'll also give him some more options on the back end for making his life a little easier with fulfillment and ordering and all that jazz. And as he said, as I go through this, I'm finding more and more stuff that I need to change or update or whatever. So
sure,
that's an ongoing project from our good friend Forrest over at Knuckle Duster. So keep a lookout for that. If you're on Facebook, follow him there. He is really good about making announcements and just giving all sorts of little blurbs and background information there. So check him out, as well as a friend of the show and local to me and Chris. By local, I mean he's about 90 miles south of us in Bloomington, Illinois. So
there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
And then the final little blurb is from Black Powder Red Earth.
Yeah.
And these are just a couple of posts that I wanted to kind of highlight for off their Facebook page. So they have some new Recce Raider minis coming out, and I don't know what deal John Chang pulled off, but he has Sam Lenz painting his display miniatures, and those things look amazing. if you're familiar with Sam Lenz, he does more fantasy, Warhammer, that type of stuff. So having a guy like that is actually painting our modern miniatures, I think is a nice crossover, and maybe a way to bring more people to modern miniature wargaming, because the majority of his crowd is not into that. That's not their gaming system or their genre. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that Sam's evolved and he's doing that. And he's he posted on his Instagram. It's all over all of his social media stuff, as well as John and the rest of the Black Powder Red Earth crew shared on theirs. They've got a little video that he talks about what it is. One of the things about the miniatures that these guys make, they are very specific on their gear and equipment.
Yeah.
Everything you see on those miniatures is an actual piece of equipment that is a reproduction of an actual piece of equipment that is manufactured. I mean, down to the pouches. He'll tell you what this is a Cry Precision chest rig. This belt came from this person. The weapon system is this, but the suppressor is that. He talks about that a little bit in his video that is on his Facebook, John Chang's or Black Powder Red Earth's Instagram and Facebook. So I think that's really cool. Being a geek, having gotten into using some of that equipment in the military, as well as I do some of that on the civilian side. I think that that's really cool that this guy gets down to that level of detail.
Yeah.
Also,
he gives you the NSNs for what products are.
He could. I mean, he gives you enough information. Literally, if you wanted to buy a loadout to match this, you could. The Black Powder Red Earth guys are pretty diverse in their offering. And when I say that, they started, it's a graphic novel company, and their graphic novels are awesome. So if you're into that, by all means, go check it out. He's got a boatload of them now. And if you, pro tip, if you don't want to pay full boat for a book, which, by the way, most of those books are like, coffee table quality books. You can join their Patreon and get a PDF version as well. I don't remember what the cost of the Patreon or the books are in PDF, but it's available there. Go check it out if that's your jam. But they also make stickers and books and patches and all this jazz, as well as I think it was with BCM. They made a Black Powder Red Earth rifle. Like,
really?
Like pew pew, shoot you in the face rifle. And there's a BPRE airsoft group on Facebook, I believe, if I remember correctly. So, a huge depth to their product line, if you will.
Interesting. All right. Anything else, sir?
One other quick blurb, one other note from Black Powder posted a couple days ago. So he's teasing something. They've got their Crisis Troop Scorch close combat kill team in their natural environment. He says that Black Powder Red Earth 28mm phase line is coming in November, and that's going to include 6 new classes and 24 new sculpts.
Interesting.
So he hasn't shown all that yet, but they have really high quality miniatures. So I'm interested to see what those look like. And that, my friend, is the news.
I have one more thing to add to the news from our friend Kurt Stevens. He is the man behind Miniature Building Authority. They have another Kickstarter going right now for some more Middle Eastern buildings. So if you check out, they have 6 days to go. They passed their pledge. They have a low pledge limit of 5,000. They're at 10, so they've doubled it. But the buildings are very nice. They come pre-painted and all that. People, the biggest concern I hear from people regarding this stuff is that it's quite expensive. But when you look at what you get for the price, it's resin, it's painted, it comes with the decoration. So like this piece right here in the Kickstarter is $25. That's not bad for a resin piece with the rugs and all that stuff right there. you just got to remember, this is stuff you don't have to put together, Chris. You don't have to paint it, Chris. You don't have to do any of that. You just put it on the table and go play. So
Yeah, 100%.
So a little money, extra money.
I was gonna say now, if you do want to buy like the whole, the all-in thing, yeah, that's kind of pricey.
It's $1,000,
but
the entire town is $1,000.
But you can literally fill the table with it.
Yeah,
a bit, a real size table.
Exactly. So, check out that.
For $1,000,
can you guys see the chat? Are you guys able to see when people post stuff in the chat?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've been seeing the chat and replying to people.
Yeah, I see that, Jim. So, one thing before I forget, Bill, what have you done to the ducks today? The ducks? What ducks? Oh, do you hear Dawn's bird in the background? That's Dawn's cockatoo in the background. That's Holly. She likes to quack like that. Paul B., I've been trying to reach you. You won the prize as the random draw from last show, so we want to send you a T-shirt and a mug as well for your comment and participating in our thing. So.
Oh yeah, hey, Paul's in there.
Yeah.
Oh yay!
All right. So there's that. It's good to see some familiar faces. Saw Rasmus is checked in, and Wardrobe is checked in, and of course our Paul and Tuffy Ears. Two of our longtime subscribers. We're still growing. Jim, have you been keeping up on the numbers? I know you've been away, but we're up to like 1,040 subscribers now. So it's good to see some growth. So.
It's kind of weird when I go to the page and it says 1 point something K instead of you have 32 subscribers. Like, we got over 1,000. Oh, that warms the cockles of my heart.
Right?
Oh, yeah, 1.04. Yeah, once you get past 1,000, and only am I still muted? No, once you get over 1,000, it only tracks by tens. So yeah, we're probably at 1,040. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So awesome. All right, Jim. Do you have any? I know you covered some stuff in the news. Do you have any project updates or other things that you'd like to talk about right now?
I've got no projects on the books.
Okay.
Outside of tomorrow's game, and then after that, it's going to be week to week for a while.
Okay. All right. So all right, let's just catch up on some more math, fun, and games. Bye. All right.
Thanksgiving, we sometimes do something. I don't know if I'm going to, but Thanksgiving, we sometimes do something related to Chosen Reservoir. Like the usual. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. I mean, we've done it a couple times already. So
yeah. Jim, it might be time for you and I to do a Sunday game. So, the other thing is you're literally maybe 2 hours from me now. There's no reason we can't get some stuff on the tabletop and actually play a real game.
Yeah, you can't argue with that.
Yeah. All right. So, anybody else have any last-minute ideas or topics before we hit the meat of the show?
No, bring it. Let's do this.
All right. Okay, so the meat of the show, or the topic of today's show, is Wargamers. Do they do it for the hobby or the game? This came to me when I've been doing my research for my little video series I'm doing on big battles in small spaces using microscale. And looking back at all the stuff I'm missing, because I don't have my workspace anymore, I don't have the hobby room, I don't have the studio, and it made me think about something, which was, did I spend more time hobbying or playing? And what did I enjoy more? So, personally, I spent a ton more time hobbying. So that in itself, if you go off of just time investment, that leads to that argument. But I do enjoy painting and stuff. It's kind of like, it's how I relax, I guess you could say.
Right.
But then you want to put the pedal to the metal, and you want to use what you worked on in real world. Some people just I want to paint, I'll do scenery, and it sits on a shelf and it looks great, and I'm perfectly happy with that. Other people want to play games, so test message, hello, Jupiter Mark Gamer, hello. So before I get really in depth on my part,
That's
anybody
Mark
want to kick it off? What do you say, Marty?
Well, I think I'm probably in a very similar situation to you. First of all, I really enjoy painting. I enjoy building terrain and painting it. I like the hobby aspect. I'm very much into that.
Yeah.
But I also want to put them little dudes down and be able to push them around the table and fight my battles, so to speak. But which is part of the reason why I got into solo wargaming a little bit, because it turns out I've got the stuff, and it's easy to schedule me to play me versus having to take all my stuff somewhere to go play someone else, and then on their schedule, all of the logistical side of it, if you will.
Right.
I certainly spend much more time with doing the hobby portion than I do the gaming portion. But I do want to, the goal of this is to actually get them on the table. I just, I'm not, as anyone will tell you, I'm not a display painter. So if we're not displaying them, we better be playing with them, right?
But, that also leads to the thing, the more you do it, the better you get at it. If you look at, everybody knew who Angel Heraldez is, right?
Yeah.
If you look at his very first miniature he ever painted, not to what he paints now, it's like two different people completely. And he learned just by doing, practice more and more, and just keeping at it. I'm not saying that we're all going to be at his level, but honestly, the more you do it, the better it is. So, but
yeah, you're not going to get better at it unless you put some mileage on the brush. So
yeah.
That's you have to do it. And that's one of the traps I think that people kind of fall into, is they're like, hey, well, I'm watching this YouTube video and I'm going to learn a new technique. No, you're going to see a new technique until you actually do it.
Yeah.
It's just you being entertained and receiving some information, because as it turns out, in practicality, you see this technique and then you try it and you're like, wait a minute, didn't I do what that person did? Why didn't this have the same effect? And then you got to figure that stuff out, because as it turns out, I used a different brand of paint or a different brush, or, he said 2 drops of thinner in there, and he must have bigger drops or something.
Yeah.
There's always stuff to work out, but you find that out through trial and error.
Yeah.
Okay, now I've gotten rolling on it. Let's go do it.
Yeah. Hey, before I forget, just a sidebar note. So, I was telling you guys, I was researching Tabletop Simulator, which is you download from Steam. Steam is a platform that you can play PC games, through their service.
There's a great Stalingrad DLC you can find on Steam.
Yes, there is. You could get the Valor.
How would you know about that, Jim?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
I mean,
in all seriousness, they've come out with other DLC since then. So if you're
they came out with Arnhem. So
Arnhem, and before that, Cherkasy Pocket, or Chelmno if you prefer. So more Eastern Front, more Western Front. Anyway.
Yeah. So, but yeah, guys, if you have not checked out Valor and Victory, and if you're a fan of, what would you say, Jim, a light version of Squad Leader, Advanced Squad Leader?
Yeah, the double-ended joke is, if you're an Advanced Squad Leader player, Valor and Victory is Advanced Squad Leader for Dummies. If you're a Valor and Victory player, you say Valor and Victory is Advanced Squad Leader for people who have a life or a job or anything else. So pick your poison. I definitely prefer Valor and Victory.
It is a lot of fun. I enjoy it. And Jim's won me over on playing it. I didn't really know much about it until doing some stuff with Jim as far as playing a game or two. And it does take a lot of the headaches of Advanced Squad Leader away, so you can actually play the game without, referencing this, referencing that. Oh, is this?
It does round off a lot of corners, especially when it comes to urban combat. But you can actually convince people to play once in a while. So.
Yeah. So, says, hey, Dawn has commented. What?
Right.
Hi, guys.
Thank
I
you,
won't leave
Dawn.
Chris on the hill alone. I'm definitely into the gaming part over the hobby part, though I do like putting terrain together. That is true. She does like, she's one of those people, you give her a stack of MDF terrain, you know, all the little things you got to punch out for like windows and stuff. She'll sit there all day and just do that. She enjoys doing that kind of stuff.
When it comes to the game over the hobby, Dawn, it hasn't come around to me yet. Relax. Nobody's alone yet.
So,
I game with people on 3 continents every single week. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So, what I was getting back to was on Steam, you know, under Tabletop Simulator, there's a thing called Workshop, and that's where people post user content. You know, different games. You know, you can play. There's a whole bunch of 40K, so you can play 40K virtually, and you know, all kinds of different battle spaces on there, Marty.
Yep.
And did you see what they use for their intro video and how to play?
Our video not. Is it
our
ours?
video is on Steam.
There you go.
Yeah.
So if you go to the Steam, let me see if I can bring it up. I don't know if I can bring it up, but let me see if I can bring it up real quick.
That's a nice feeling, isn't it, Marty? When all of a sudden you're Steam famous.
Yeah, right.
Steam famous.
There you go.
So I was I'm on the Battle Space Facebook group, and some new player got in there and was like, "Hey, is there a how to play or whatever?" And I posted Robert's first Robert Salters, the guy from Table Salt Design that made the game. I posted his how to play video because, well, I mean, he's the game designer, right? Yeah,
right.
Somebody else linked to ours.
Nice.
I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So basically, what that tells me is that, you know, somebody's recognizing us as. Well, let me see if I can.
Apparently, we provide something of value. Yes.
Yeah, obviously. All right, so
it tells me that I might need to film some more of that. That's what I'm hearing.
Exactamundo. All right, so you go to Steam, and you go into workshops, and if you go to Battle Space, because there's several pages. Oops, wrong game. I almost put Battle Group, Jim.
That was also a correct answer.
So here is the page for Battle Space, and it's the official Battle Space upload from Robert. And right here, my friends, is us.
That's a great looking table. Who made that?
Right?
Which currently is all in boxes because I'm getting ready to move from one room to another.
So yeah, here we are. There we are, official. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there you go, Jim. The floor is yours, sir. Let us hear your opinion from the designer of games, the designer of terrain.
A couple things. Number one, to what you guys were talking about before, you know, like looking at people's other people's work. That's where you get your ideas and your inspiration from. But this is going to sound a little cliche, but it's true, really. I mean, it's a cliche for a reason. The only person you should ever compare yourself against is yourself. I've still got my first Mark IVs. I mean, we kid around. Oh, you know, there's this thing called paintbrushes. I'm actually not kidding. My first Mark IVs were painted. They're old. But Axis and Allies used to make a 15mm hybrid hex and miniatures game. I had some of those. I wanted to turn my Mark IV Ds into Mark IV Hs. So I cut like poster board and mat board shirts in, stopped them on the side, put a finishing nail into the gun mantlet to turn the short barrel 75 into a long barrel 75, and painted it with a Q-tip. Because I didn't even have brushes at the time. I still have those miniatures. I still use them sometimes. And then, of course, I've got the stuff I paint now, which is a lot better. So, yeah, once in a while you compare your old stuff to your new stuff, and as long as B is greater than A, you're heading in the right direction. Don't look at some, you know, top level, you know, badass painter and get discouraged. You know, just get your ideas from there. But as far as how you're tracking your progress, As long as you beat yourself, you're fine. Well, that didn't sound right. As long as you're better than you were yesterday, you're fine.
Yeah, let's go with that. I like that
Yeah,
one better.
thank you. As long as you're better than you were yesterday, you're fine.
And that's how you get better.
No, it is, seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. You literally have to. If you ever paint, that's why I'm a little frustrated with these Magaks I'm working on now, because they're not going to be better than my last miniatures. I can tell you that already. And if you're not better than you were the last time, you're doing something wrong. And yeah, with these Magaks, I did something wrong. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but I'll save them. I'm working on them. But yeah, and then when you do hit a little stumbling block like that, just don't get discouraged. And as far as game versus hobby goes, I mean, you guys know me. I'm 80%, if not 90% game.
Right.
I love to paint miniatures. I've got like 1,200 15mm miniatures in my case, and the case is overflowing. I've got several 20mm armies. I've got thousands of completed painted miniatures. My lead mountain is never more than 5 vehicles at a time. I don't believe in just buying a bunch of boxes and sticking them up on my shelf and say that's my hobby. If I can't find it, I'll build it. So I mean, I do like miniatures, but at the same time, so I do like painting miniatures. But now that I've got most of the stuff that I'm really interested in already built, like between 20, like I first joined back then I was on Tabletop. I first joined them in March of 2014, and between March of 2014 and like the end of 2016, I built like literally 3,000 or 4,000 miniatures, and then since then I've built like maybe 100. It's fallen off drastically because I'm done with most of the stuff I need to play the games that I'm interested in. Once in a while, I'll build a new army, or I'll fill in a gap in an existing army. But yeah, 90%, not 90% game. To be fair.
Yeah,
that's also a big thing with Hex Encounters. I mean, with Hex Encounters, I'm not saying that there's no hobby. I still have to make all the maps in Photoshop. I still have to design the counters. There's a whole bunch of Facebook groups where people are sharing different ideas about how they build their counters for different games or games they design themselves, and we work on those. We build those, so that there is you don't have to. There is such a way to paint virtually. I virtually paint miniatures all the time. Tune in tomorrow to see a bunch of badass miniatures, virtual miniatures or whatever, that are painted in Photoshop. But at the same time, for me, yeah, it's mostly 90% game.
Yeah. For me, I'm almost to the point where Jim has won me over on virtual gaming, where you can do, because as y'all know, I have extremely limited space to game with. Whereas, I could do it virtually and I can play any game I want on any size table I want or grid, whatever platform.
You were talking about gaming in small sizes?
Yeah.
How's that for a small size? That's about 50 armies in there, about 400 maps. I'm just saying.
All right, Jim wins. He's got that one nailed.
Yeah. So there's that, but I still miss the painting and whatever. So what I'm thinking of doing, Rubicon Models has me. I know Rubicon Models has me so interested in those Vietnam line that they're producing. I might just get a couple and do small vignettes, little dioramas.
Yep.
And
they make some great stuff. Together. They'd be good for it.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about doing that because, if I can get either the point where I get this tabletop simulator thing down to the point where I can create my, any game that we want, or Jim shows me the wondrous magic behind the curtain so I can do it virtually the way he does it, so we can play games that way too. Because to be honest with you, and everybody sitting here at the cameras can attest to the fact that trying to record, edit, and make a good, not just throw it up on the internet, but good video on gameplay with miniatures on a table is a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
right?
It's work.
Yeah, it's loud, right, Jim? That last live stream you did where you were trying to get the camera angles and move your miniatures and then remember the rules, and
Yeah,
and
that
you're doing
Sabo
it pretty
Island
much
game
solo. And
I was totally solo. Yeah, that Sabo
yeah,
Island game was pretty rough. When Mark ran his Pelelu game, that was a little bit easier. I played that game. I think when you guys were recording the last episode, I was actually down in downtown Fort Lauderdale. Played the game, recorded little bits of it, and then it gets easier as you. It never gets easy. It gets less hellish, I guess I should say.
yeah,
And yeah, that was edited, music put together, special effects, jokes, sound bites, the whole 9 yards. That was ready to go by like 8 p.m. that night.
yeah,
But that's only like a 15-minute. That was like a 10-15-minute video. I think a lot of people try to record too much. They try to
Yes.
record the whole thing, and that never
Yep.
works. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Um,
I
and,
learned that the
yeah.
hard way.
Yeah, you wind up with like a 300 gig file or something. It's like, nope, that's not going to work. And I literally, like, Mark saw me do it. I was, playing a turn, taking my turn, throwing some dice, taking some photographs, or not photographs, taking some video, and then I had my little Marine Corps journal here, and then I write down the time code. I have 2 minutes, I have 1 minute 30, and I have 45 seconds, and then you add it all up at the bottom. When you get to, again, this is just practice. You want to make a 15-minute video, you want that plus 50%. You want 2250 at least, or 2230 at least, of actual footage. And it's also just building up assets. The more assets you build up, the easier it gets. I mean, just more plug and play.
yeah,
Logos, title screens, so on and so forth, music, licenses that don't get copyright claimed. And it's not easy, but there are some, it's not cheap. I've got at least $1,000 worth of music we use for this kind of stuff. So it's not cheap. Not all at once. Like, you build it up over time.
exactly.
But yeah. But yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying, Bill. I mean, yes, totally a miniatures game. I'm totally a virtual gamer now. Even when I wasn't a virtual gamer, I was mostly hex encounters. I did sort of become like a hybrid gamer. And no matter how hard you get into, or how easy it is, because God bless, it's that easy. Every time I go into my hobby drawer and I start to pull out brushes, physical paints, or I go to set up a table, I'm like, why am I doing this? The time it takes me to set up this table, I could have played it 3 times with people on 2 different continents, had video cut together, and be done with it. Just how long it takes to set up the table. But at the same time, like I said, you go down to play Pelelu with 5th Marines with Mark, who had 8 players, by the way. So
Wow.
that was another thing. That's all on the video. That's another thing. If you're going to record a video, don't be running the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mark was running the game. He wasn't playing in the game. He had 2 teams of 4. I was one of 4 Marine Corps players, and I mean, I was playing, but with 8 players, you're only playing like some of the time.
Yeah.
So it was a perfect storm. I wasn't running the game. It was a fantastic table, great miniatures, great background, great system, great crowd, and I was only playing like 1/8 of the time. So that means that I had plenty of time to shoot video, and it doesn't take much. I mean, the iPhones they have today, audio is always a pain in the ass, but the video is easy. With today's iPhones, shit. I mean, you don't need a DSLR or anything else like that. You just shoot it on your friggin' phone and you're done.
It's 100% true. I mean, the new iPhone, we got the 13s, and the video is incredible. You can literally shoot it. And what Jim said, I think needs to be highlighted. If you're creating the video, you should not be playing the video. There is no way you can play and do a good job and create a video and do a good job. How we had the studio set up at my old house. You had a control panel with the audio control panel. You had the video switchers. You had the video recorders. You had the uploader. It takes one person to be able to switch cameras. So sometimes we had a minimum of 3 cameras going, and sometimes up to 4. There's no way you can switch scenes and do the game and make it look good. God forbid, I will never go back to the old way where you just had 4 cameras running, and you all had them recording, you synced them by clapping, then you take all that video footage, you take it into Premiere Pro or whatever you're using, and then you sync them all up, and then you're watching the video and cutting, editing each camera.
If you have like the NBC or like ABC Sports News van outside your house, like the big trailer, they shoot WWE footage. or NFL footage. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, if you've got a 20-person team and god awful technology and computers, maybe. But for consumer level desktop publishing, hell no, man. You're gonna melt your machine if nothing else.
Yeah, well, and
Yeah.
you know, Chris has done that a little bit too when we had it set up over at his place. So, you know, he was the producer while I was fumbling through whatever I was trying to create as content. But you know, he's trying to run everything in the background. You know, because there's no way I would be able to effectively do it and be the content creator at that point, regardless of whether I'm building something, playing a game, whatever.
Yeah, it's back in the day when we first joined up with Beast of War, it was, oh, I can do it all, and we literally did it all. But I'm going to show you one of our old studio setups here. So here's a picture. This is 2 houses ago. This was our studio back then. So here's your background, all your background. You got your soundproofing. So that was the stage. That's where the games are played. That's nothing. Those are some of the cameras we used. And then you start getting into the control panel. So here's Mac, and another. That's the TV behind here. So I had one that's the switcher control. This one was the audio controls, which goes into, here's your different screens. So that's your preview, that's your recording, and then these are all the cameras. So we could literally have up to 8 sources coming in, and then it went all into this box. So you got your recorder and switcher and live streamer, and then the audio here, which is now at Chris's house. So to set up this new studio. But yeah, that's literally what we were using. I could do live video, sports, just as Jim says. It's the exact same stuff. It's all Blackmagic Studio stuff. So that's the high end. So that's like the audio, the soundboard. So, but yeah, so that was the equipment. So tell me how you're going to run that equipment, because you could run it from a Steam Deck, or Stream Deck, but there's no way you can play a game and run all that stuff and make a good video. So
I was gonna say it's tough though. Yeah.
All right, Chris, you've been awfully quiet. No, go ahead, Jim. Finish your thought.
I was just all those Gulf War games.
Yeah,
that was my studio.
Yeah.
Although I did have a laptop with some editing software afterwards, but to do that shit live, that's rough.
Yeah,
that's rough.
Yeah. So all right, Chris. Oh, I'm sorry, Jim. Go ahead.
It was impossible, but rough.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, Chris, you've been awfully quiet.
I'm just listening.
I know, but you do a lot more on the hobbying side than the game playing, painting side. You're kind of the guy behind the machine, if you will.
So, one of the things we have to talk about is terms. So if it's just down between the 2 choices of hobby or gaming, hobby could be a number of things: setting up the background, printing, doing the 3D printing, doing the laser, doing all of that fun stuff. I like to build terrain. I like to build things, take a look at the laser. Just the painting part doesn't relax me.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. I've tried. Trust me, I've tried different medicines, tried scotch, and that really does not help my painting.
Does help your attitude though.
It does. Yeah, it really does. Fuck, I don't care. His face is purple, but whatever. But there's actually a third part. The thing that I like the most is, I would say, the gaming, but it's not the gaming, it's the camaraderie.
The social aspect?
The social aspect, getting together and having fun. I don't care if we get together and play, war with, 3 decks of cards. We're getting together. That's what I enjoy. Actually, today is my anniversary, my 2-year anniversary from being retired from the military.
Yay!
And this stuff is kind of like the military. I like the people. No.
Flag on the play. Don't you say that about our hobby.
There's aspects of this that are a pain in the ass. Whether it's sitting for
True.
4 hours on a green ramp, waiting for a flight because the Air Force is just that
The
anal.
Air Force.
The Air Force.
Yeah, yeah. Or if it's trying to get the right consistency. Why do I keep getting that shit stuck to the tip of my airbrush? You know, I
Oh, thank
shouldn't
God
have
he
to-
said airbrush.
I agree 100% when it comes to anything spray. And whether it's a rattle
Yep.
can
Yep.
or an airbrush, that shit is stressful. It never relaxes me. I know some
Yep.
people are super good at it. That is not me. Once I get all the base spray on there and it comes down to the brush, then I can sort of settle down and it relaxes me. But I think I tried live streaming. I tried live streaming a hobby stream with an airbrush once, and it didn't come out too bad. But I don't think I'm gonna do that again.
Yeah.
'Cause
I-
holy crap!
So I'll build terrain. I mean, I like building that stuff. I really enjoyed printing the spear that we use for
Yep.
the
Zulu game.
for Zulu game. I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
I enjoyed that aspect of it. And I don't know, maybe it's just my eyesight's making the painting not fun because with the amount of scope and magnification I have to have, now I've got
Yeah.
fucking Parkinson's.
Well, you know,
Um,
when you're looking at it, you know, through 4-power lens, yeah, suddenly you're like everything is magnified. I'm like, why can't I hold my hand still?
Right?
So,
Yeah.
you know, along with those lines, you got to remember when you paint a miniature, it's not for up, 3 to 6 inches from a camera lens. It's from 2 feet or more on a table. So, what does it look like 2 feet? If
Yeah.
it looks good at 2 feet, it looks good because even one of the miniatures I spent weeks painting, and that was the Bugman's miniature from Warhammer World. I spent a lot of time wet blending, and I do a layer and I would let it dry, and I would come back and do a layer and let it dry. So, Jim, you have to click on the thing on the comment, and it'll say hide or show, and then it'll post. So, if you can't, then I can do it.
It's working now. That's all good.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just skipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It doesn't post every one. I'm picking them as they're coming up. So I thought they were posting all together, but the overlays off. Just that way we have some screen space. Otherwise, we reduce our screen space. Anyway, so
yeah. So I mean, and it doesn't always have to be about the painting.
yeah. No, it doesn't.
So-
There's so much more to the hobby than painting.
Yep.
Well, yeah, especially at Chris's house because he's got the laser printer. He can literally make his own MDF terrain and other thing out of other materials. He's got an FDM and a resin printer, so he can 3D print stuff. As you can tell, Chris said that he leans into the building side of things. Well, he's got the equipment to do that in various I was going to say genres, materials and formats.
Yeah.
Yep. Building a little electronic projects and stuff like that. But, yeah, that's more me. And
I mean,
the
think
computer
about
stuff.
it. You have contributed a lot to the hobby, at least as far as our team, with the laser cutter doohickey. So,
Well, just because you got free bases.
well,
Lots
Is it
of
wrong?
free bases. No.
so yeah, we got all the bases we needed for the Rourke's Drift game. So, which honestly, to me, I don't know about you guys, but for me, that was like the culmination of all the things. We had hobbying from bases, using a laser cutter to create bases, and some props, 3D printing for our miniatures, and then painting, and then we did kits for terrain. We did homebrew terrain. The terrain itself was literally pink foam cut and carved, and then we used a canvas painting tarp as the ground, and then we just used spray paint to do shadowing and highlighting, and then we added bits and pieces, and then the mountain and all that good stuff. And then we got to play the game. So and we put it on. The video didn't work out the way I wanted to because again, it goes back to if you're going to have someone do the video recording, you need somebody that's their job, not play a game and video record, because one or the other, or both, is going to lack. So, but
Well,
yeah, we
that
used all aspects.
that one wasn't bad because you were gaming and doing the video, because there was no way you were going to have it live or
Yeah.
1-to-1.
No.
So you had to cut it down anyhow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because it took us 2 days to play,
yeah.
and each day was almost 8 hours each day. So yeah, but still, I think that one,
Ouch.
it was a culmination of the game. And then the other one was our 13 days to 13 hours.
Yeah.
I was
So
going to mention Trenton.
yeah,
Trenton had everything that you just mentioned except for the 3D printing, because I'm old school and I still buy my miniatures. But other than that, it was built the city of Trenton in 20 millimeter from scratch. It took all of December, but yeah, we got it done, and that did go up live. And then there was a sort of a wrap up video afterwards, because if you don't want to watch a 3-hour stream, there's literally like a 6-minute video that just goes over the table and shows the table's highlights.
yeah,
But yeah, 13 hours. The 13 hours game was, or games, incorporated everything you just mentioned plus game design.
yeah,
So
You had
yeah. We had virtual
too, right?
game, virtual gaming, game design, tabletop gaming, terrain building,
3D printing. You guys
3D printing.
printed some of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Research.
a lot of research.
Yeah.
A lot of research. I mean, Jim had that broken down to the minutes, and my favorite part, take all the gameplay stuff out of it, my favorite part was the hypothesis, testing the hypothesis. Granted, if we really truly want to do a scientific study, we would have had to play the same game numerous times to see what the actual result was. To see, you can't just play it once and say, yeah, this is the way it's going to be. But we did play our hypothesis, and based upon our beliefs and our hypothesis, we believe the ambassador could have been saved.
Yeah. I mean, we showed
by
that
30
it was
minutes late.
possible.
We showed it was possible. I mean, we
Yeah.
did play it several times, and literally half the times the GRS team was massacred halfway to the site.
Yeah.
Because the opposing forces around the consulate were much stronger, and when they finally showed up, they were starting to withdraw. So it's sort of a half dozen in one hand, 6 in the other. If they had left earlier, they could have done a lot more good, but they would have hit much harder opposition than they hit historically. So it's all or nothing thing. If they would have made it there, yes, they definitely would have saved the ambassador. Would they have made it there? I mean, obviously these guys were tier 1 operators. At the same time, they're outnumbered like literally hundreds to 1.
Yeah.
So pick your poison at that point.
Yeah. So I mean, we have, I'm going to take Jim's games away. I'm talking from the big projects that we've done. When we've had these big projects, 13 Hours and Rourke's Drift, and where we've had to create everything from scratch. And Jim's Trenton is a perfect example. But Jim has I'm going to just say, Jim has the unfair advantage. He knows what he's talking about, where we kind of shoot from our hip, to be honest with you, right, Chris and Marty? Let's be truthful. We have the background, but do we have all the nuts and bolts and, so.
Jim probably has a much greater knowledge in depth on many of these things. Yes.
So,
100%.
but when we've taken the time and we have collaborated with, and we've played to everybody's strengths, I think we've done some really good projects. The Rourke's Drift was a great project. 13 Hours, 13 Days was a great project. Some parts didn't go the way I thought they would in my head, but in the end, we did an excellent transition game. The tabletop game, the table looked amazing. And
yeah, that turned out well.
Yeah, and the game itself was really good. My biggest criticism of that is that, again, we should have had a dedicated film crew. And
Hey.
No, I'm not saying. I mean, to be fair to Chris,
I'm kidding. It was my first time, and
I handed Chris a camera and said, "All right, film and do this and do this and do this," and there was no real training, there was no real background. It was literally shove a camera in his hand and expect amazing results, right?
Yeah, do it now.
Right. So
the red button. Trust the red button.
Yeah. So the point I'm making is, the really good stuff that we do takes months. It's not, even Jim's games, he doesn't put those together overnight. There's a lot of research in the background, and he does his building and his, design. I mean, he'll spend. I remember getting messages from like 3 in the morning. Okay, I'm going to bed now. I just finished creating whatever counters, and I'm like, don't you have to work in the morning? So.
Work and sleep is for the weak. The game that we're playing tomorrow, I've been building. It's a virtual game, and even without picking up a physical brush, it's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is why I have not been up till 2 or 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning working on it. Sometimes when it's like down to like Saturday and I'm streaming on Sunday, I'm like, well. And then, of course, the next morning comes around and I lose because I'm running the stream. I'm talking to chat. I'm on 2 hours of sleep. I'm up against good players. And, guess what? I get my ass kicked.
Yeah.
So, if you're running the game and running the production, your production might come out okay, but get ready for an ass whipping because you're almost certainly going to lose that game. One or the other is going to suffer.
You're merely being a gracious host. That's the way I look at it, Jim.
Maybe.
You're trying to enhance the player experience for your opponent.
We'll go with that.
Yeah. If anyone asks,
I've
that's
been
the
winning
answer.
quite a few games lately.
Awesome.
Hey, so Tuffy years. I'm sorry to hear about the laser printer.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. What?
Her comment that somebody was using it and didn't watch the water level, so it overheated and
The laser went pop.
Oh.
yeah.
Ouch.
That's a bummer.
So, an exciting thing is in roughly 3 weeks, Dawn, we'll be back in Illinois and spending the Thanksgiving holiday week with the clan, and it's pretty much going to be a gaming week. Gaz will be there, Marty will be there, obviously Chris will be there. It's his house, so
yeah. I took the entire week off of work.
Joey will be there. So.
Yeah.
Jupiter Mark game. Mark Ritchie. Yes, 15 minutes or 30 minutes is our target length for a non-live stream. Stay below 30. Stay below 14. Or stay below 15. Definitely all my op centers are below 30. Then my later op centers are below 15. Stick with that. YouTube likes that, and the algorithm blesses you with unknowable goodness.
Yeah. We have come to find out that if you're going to do a produced video, shorter is better. There's a sweet spot, and typically it's around 15 minutes. People start clicking off after 15 minutes. Some live stuff, people jump in and out. So if you have a live game going on for a few hours, people will watch. They'll jump out. They'll come back in, and they do kind of like updates. But
to be fair, all of our most popular videos are over 3 hours.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think those are exceptions. Like Panzer Leader tutorial is like up to 6,000 almost now.
Yep.
Somalia, your guys when you did Ukraine that one time, that's last I looked like over it's over 1,000. I know that for sure. It might be like 1,200 now. Whereas usually it's like 200, 300, 400 is usually where we tap out. At least for my stuff. So.
And the nice thing now that we are getting more exposure due to our increased subscriber count, we'll see those numbers jump. As people discover, like your Panzer Blitz is probably our most popular video, I want to say, or one of the most popular.
By view count, it's like by an order of magnitude, which I don't understand. I think that was the stream when like you were having a tough time, or somebody was having a tough time coming home from work, and it was like, Jim, can you stream tonight? I was like, shit, I'll do something together. It's one of the crappiest things I've ever done, and it's like.
But it's Panzer Blitz. That's why.
It easily ups. Our Panzer Blitz, our Panzer Leader, Panzer Blitz stuff. Sometimes people get tired of it. It's always our most popular content. So.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Go ahead, Chris.
I'm surprised it's not the one where Marty fell off the stage.
Because
as many times as Maria, his daughter, has played that.
Maria literally has it bookmarked, and will occasionally just pull up her phone and she'll be like, "Watch this." Boink.
But I can tell you, we're gonna have to do a hobby night stream with everybody together.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm not promising a clean speech. I'm not promising that there won't be crude stuff said. Well, we have Gaz there, and Gaz is, he's a British guy, so he's a little formal. But,
Well,
it is what it is.
I've known British people curse the paint off the walls.
Right? They say the C word all the freaking time.
Yeah, definitely a different view between on the different sides of the pond using that word, but perhaps a little warning that there may be some more mature. Nope, that's not the word. There may be some adult content. We won't say mature. I mean,
right?
Yeah.
So
it might not be for the kids. How about that?
Perfect.
Little warning.
Even though Joey will probably be there, right? So
yeah.
Grandpa of the Year.
Yeah.
All right. So getting back to our topic, semi-formal vote. Hobby or game? Your preference. Chris?
Game.
Jim?
With all the caveats and asterisks I mentioned before, game.
Marty?
Hobby.
You have the right to be wrong. You have the right. That's fine. You have the right to be wrong. I'm just playing. Are we gonna get a tie here, or
I am going to go with hobby.
There you go. We have a tie.
So,
but I think that probably reflects what it's like out there in the rest of the hobby, though. Whether
right?
In the gaming world.
So because we have a tie, I feel another contest is in order. Just saying. If you comment on this video and tell us your preference, we will pick somebody at random, and they will win one of these wonderful, brand new full color Sit Rep Podcast logo thingies with the Wargamers Wear brand, or you can have the traditional. You tell us when we contact you which one you'd rather have, the colored version or the traditional logo. Marty, you have the traditional logo one?
Let's hold on.
No, that's the old one.
I was gonna say I just
Jim's
have that
logo
one.
Jim's logo one.
Oh, the Warthog.
Yeah, the Warthog.
I don't have that one with me.
So you let us know. We'll send you your choice. We will pick a winner a week from today. So, yeah. So,
Dawn, we only had the 3 bits, and we didn't expect such a rush when it comes to cake or death.
Yeah.
Yes, I get reference.
The members of Sit Rep Podcast are excluded from the contest.
That's right, Chris.
This is horse puckies. Never win. Oh, hey, find your love here.
Here we go.
Oh, here it goes.
This happens to everybody.
They are not under consideration for winning the mug.
Oh.
Well, it depends. Sex find income, call me. I'm just kidding. I have no control. I have no control over the
I tell you, some of these people. All right, so Jim has a big surprise game for everybody tomorrow. I kind of have an inkling based on the time of year it is, and it's one of his most popularly requested games.
Spoiler alert, it's been on the books for a year. I mean, it's been on the books for literally a year.
Do you have several people playing with you this time? I know there's usually a big waiting list.
For this one, there has been, yeah. But normally...
He doesn't want to give too much away today, so tune in tomorrow.
This one was literally promised to this guy literally, well, not this day, but like this week last year. So
wow.
We
awesome.
did that whole going to the Russian, the former Soviet bioweapons lab game. He was like, "That's awesome! I want to play that one day." I'm like, "Well, we may do blurt out, this content." He's like, "Oh shit!" So yeah. It's gonna be fun. Check it out.
So tune in tomorrow and see what happens. All right, and then Wednesday night, I'll be putting up another video. I was hoping to have the second video to my series, but since my tanks have not arrived yet, there will be some war game content posted. I'll be working on that tonight, tomorrow. Have it ready to go, so we'll see. I have a few ideas. I don't know. I might be able to convince Marty or Chris to do a virtual game with me. Maybe we'll do a little virtual gaming on Wednesday night. We'll see. Other than that, in 2 weeks, we'll have our next podcast. If you guys have ideas for theme topics you'd like us to talk about, post them in the comments below. If you'd like to be on the show, let us know. Reach out to us. We'd be happy to have you join us. You don't have to be on camera. You could just be audio if you'd wish. I mean, obviously, everybody likes to see our mugs. It brings a little bit more home, but we're okay with you just being audio if you'd like, if you're camera shy. So other than that, guys, we appreciate all your support. Help us get the word out. A lot of good stuff coming up. And I want to say thank you to Marty and Jim and Chris joining us on this episode of podcast. We hope you enjoy it.
Share it. Like, subscribe, and share. That's right.
That's right. So ring that ding-a-ling-a-ling. So everybody, we appreciate everything you do to support us. Buy merch. You can find it on the Teespring website. Just look for Sit Rep Podcast, and you can get the new full color T-shirt or mug, or the traditional mug T-shirt. And also, I would like to hear from you guys if there's other game systems you'd like us to explore, whether it's a review or models or something. I'm happy to buy a model or something to put it together and give an honest review. We are not supported. We are self-supported. So I truly feel that we can be honest in our observations. I know some people,
to no man.
Right. And I know some channels and feel obligated to, if they have nothing nice to say, just to say nothing at all. But is that fair as an honest review? Difference of opinion. I think the
Whatever
good
you
and the
do,
bad.
don't watch that last Magog video if you don't want to hear me shit talk about people's games.
What was that?
I mean, if you don't want to hear me shit talk about like other games that are out there, don't watch that Magog video from. I'm talking to the audience.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. Yeah, we're not supported, and if we got something to say, we're going to say it.
Yeah, and I think it's due. Like I said, a lot of people don't want to offend companies because, they do send them products and they do support, and I get it. It's a trick bag because if you say something and they don't like it or agree with it, then they cut ties with you or whatever the case. You'd hope a company would take the criticism and the feedback and make improvements. As long as you do it respectfully, right? If you just sit there and trash something, then I can get it. But if you do it in an honest and professional way, I would hope that they would see that. So.
Well, we have no ties to cut.
Yeah, we have no ties to cut, and there are so many other channels out there that give everyone kind of the white glove approach, which is fine. But there's other companies out there, there's other channels out there, or there's other groups out there that do this kind of stuff. So we want to stand, we want to be a little, if not unique, at least unusual. And if something's not good, again, it's always just our opinion. Everyone knows what I feel about flaws of war or adult action, or anyway, it's all fine.
It's all good.
A perfect example of this is Ultra Combat Modern.
Yeah.
So, we got that. We were getting ready to play and review. Chris and I were doing our rehearsal game, and we couldn't figure out what was it, the morale mechanic, I think?
Oh, I thought it was great.
Yeah, because it crushed the crap out of me. I mean, he waxed me like rain dance. It was not good. But we reached out to Colin. We're like, hey, how exactly does this work? And we ended up actually working on his first set of errata and FAQ with him on it. And he totally embraced the process. And he's like, oh, okay, well, if you don't get it, there's probably other people that don't. And we helped him publish that. So, he was awesome to work with and, be able to say, hey, look, This is how it should be done, so that way you don't end up getting martied in your game.
Yeah.
Yeah, as someone who has actually published games, I got my name on boxes out there. People have come to me and said, "This doesn't work, dude. I don't know what you were smoking when you wrote this rule or whatever, but you may want to take a look at it." It sucks, especially if it's something that you physically publish and print, because it's too late to fix it now. But
Right.
if it happens during your playtesting or if it's a virtual game, which reminds me, Bill, I've always wanted to apologize to you.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm serious. That Sidrep skirmish game in Colombia, where you brought it up and you were like, "I don't think that feels right." I'm like, "Well, that's the game as it's written. I'm not going to change it in the middle of the stream." Where a Black Hawk flew over like 3 guys with AKs and 1 guy with an RPD, and it shot the helicopter down, and you were like, "That doesn't feel right." And then I actually went through the math afterwards, and it was like, yeah. I mean, it was like my excuse was it was like a really lucky shot or something like that. And then I actually went through the numbers and gamed it out. You need a 5 up on a D6. Okay, that's 1 out of 3. You need a D5 through 8 on a D8. Okay, that's a 30, not quite 30, but whatever. And you actually aggregate all that together, and it was like, okay, so 5 guys with nothing bigger than an RPD, mostly with AKs, 1 guy with like a submachine gun, is going to shoot down a Black Hawk flying over them at speed 30% of the time. No. So that rule
about that.
Yeah, that rule. And you were totally right about that.
Well, that's game design.
Yeah, totally.
It's playtesting, right? Even if you publish a game, why do you think they put out erratas and 2nd editions and 3rd editions? You play a game, and the designer has this, and they play test it, but then you put it in the hands of regular people. They play it, and they come back and give you feedback questions, and that's why you have 2nd editions and 3rd editions. As rules change and you understand mechanics, and you play through scenarios. Because, Jim, you'd probably speak to this. You could play a game as the designer many, many, many times, and you're not going to cover every what if that some gamer out there is going to go, "Hey, I did this," and you're like, "What? How?" Right? So
broke my game, man.
Yeah, or you get me and Chris playing your game, and we're 2 monkeys that don't understand it. We look like we're flinging poo on the wall, and we're like, "Hey, how does this work?" Because we're coming at it from greatly different perspectives than the game designer. We're interested in the game and the content, and we're like, "Hey, this is great stuff," but I didn't create the game either, so I'm just trying to follow the rules that are here, and again, you got to work with my intelligence, not yours. Sorry.
Well, also, I mean, when
there's a reason the Army writes stuff at the 3rd grade reading level.
When that kind of thing happens, that's when the designer's got to make an honest, kind of no BS assessment, where it's like, okay, that happened. It came out of left field. It's something I never considered as the designer, or any of my previous playtesters because maybe we're too hidebound in this. Strict, more scientific military thought process or whatever. But then at the same time, okay, is that a rules hole that I have to fix, or unorthodox tactics are a thing? Should that have worked? It clearly did work. It worked so bad it broke the game. But is that okay? Because, like I said, unorthodox tactics are a thing, and you never want to make a game where there's only one way to win.
Right. Awesome. All right, guys. Any final thoughts before we close out the show? I think we've gone in depth, guys. Again, to you out there, let us know your vote so you can break our tie. Again, if you have topics you'd like us to discuss, or a game system, model, miniature, whatever, let be happy to review it. We'll give you our honest opinion. And again, it's our opinion. That's the thing. People see these reviews and they're like, "Oh, it's be all end all." It's somebody's opinion. It's like somebody who likes Star Wars and somebody who doesn't like Star Wars, or who likes Harry Potter and who doesn't. It's somebody's opinion. It doesn't make it right or wrong. It's just now if you get a model and half of it's covered in flash and the parts don't fit together, that's not an opinion. That's fact. That's just a piece of shit. So, but we will do it respectfully. All right,
if you don't like Star Wars, Star Trek, and Harry Potter, you are wrong. That's fact.
I agree with 1/3 of that.
I'll back Chris 100% on that.
The funny thing is, do you remember Starfleet Battles, Jim? The old RPG game. You got the source books and all that.
There's a couple games with that name.
Yeah, so back in the
Was it-
day.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Anyways, it just brings me back. All right, guys, we're going to leave it at that. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate everything you do. We appreciate your support. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share our channel. And we will see you in the next one.